All
Sweet.
right.
Is it me or you, Dolly?
It's you.
Okay.
It's you because you're next. That was the Paul.
Hmm.
We're live streaming. Epistemology about
What's up, man?
what's up? To have conversation with people.
Okay. Well, you want to check this out? Because I don't know what I'm doing. Hey!
Just talk about like in terms of
What's your name?
Mikey.
Mikey? Good to
Yeah.
meet you. I'm Quinn.
bring it.
Okay.
Yes, so you could talk about anything. It could be like politics, a social issue, spirituality. Some people think there's only two genders. Some people think abortion is wrong or right. Some people like Trump. It really could be anything. I find that the more contentious or like important to you, the better it is. Did anything pop out at you? Any belief?
Somebody.
Nothing?
What would you like to talk about? What's strong for you?
For me,
Is it spirituality?
I'm an atheist personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you not believe in a source of power?
It depends. Like I believe that the universe exists and that it has like energy
Okay.
inside of the universe, but I don't know. It depends what you mean by source of power.
Source. I mean, I feel. What is that typing noise?
I don't know. Who is?
Okay.
Oh, I think it's someone in our live chat. We're streaming live. Is that okay?
Oh, that's totally fine. How's everybody out there doing? Follow me on Instagram, Mikey Rocks, MikeeRoxx.
Mikey rocks.
But yeah,
what is the source
I mean,
that you're talking about?
so when I say source, I refer to it as something greater than human knowledge.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that I understand, or that's my. I guess that's something that I would consider as God. So it can be God. We can name it. God, Jesus, or
The source.
but the source, the
Okay.
all power. I believe it's something bigger than me.
Right. So to you, the source is really just things that are whatever is more powerful or greater than human beings.
I mean, I should have went a little bit more into that. Well, I think of God as the source. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am Christian,
Okay.
but I do like to generalize it. Not everything has to have a specific hard.
Set of characteristics.
Absolutely. So, I think, we all are practicing trying to get close to something. We understand that something is out there that's beyond us, that looks and has our best interest. And we call it multiple things,
Right.
we call it different things, but I do believe in something bigger than me. That's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you asked me in the beginning, and I'd say that I do think that there's something bigger than all of us, which is
So you're not atheist.
well, no, I just think that thing is the universe. Like I just think that the world. I think in regards to even just the world and the universe, especially, we're insignificant.
True.
That's my thought. About the part that you added on that it has our best interest. That's where I don't agree or I don't see it personally.
Why not?
I just don't. I haven't seen it yet. Like I've heard the claim, but I haven't experienced it, I guess.
Okay. What's really interesting in that is that I also believe that since I do believe in God, and I believe that we are also gods because we have that energy I'm I have so much to say now. Interesting. I know, right? But I believe we are vibrational, and that we emanate a vibration into the world, and we get that from source energy, from God energy.
Is it like is it physical or like
energy is vibrational? So I'm not sure if you can touch energy, but you can
in
feel
a way.
energy.
Yeah.
Energy is transferable.
Like in a sense, we are energy.
We
right?
are energy.
Yeah.
So if you understand that we are energy and we are vibrational energy, then you should also understand that other things around us is vibrational as well. And so the things that we want to see in life, we just need to vibrate to a higher level to attract those things. So when
Okay.
you say you haven't seen, any
Like a
a
source that's looking
sign
out.
or a source of a higher power, then I think you haven't really necessarily understood who you are first. You
Hmm.
got to understand who you are first before you can try to
Connect with that.
connect or be in alignment with source,
Okay.
because you are God, at the end of the day. You're not the God, but you are a God. So I know.
So I've got a lot of questions now. Like I did hear you say you're Christian and you think there is a God,
Mhm.
but then also you think that we're all God. So how does that work? Like
Mhm.
we're him and he's us, or
Absolutely.
okay? So like
That was it.
that's it. That's all the explanation it takes.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, when it starts getting into religion, and then we start to kind of, really start defining, a lot about God. But I believe that, God is indescribable. I think there's a lot of things that we don't know and we don't understand, but we can feel. And because some things we can't necessarily be able to verbalize, doesn't take away from the feeling
experience.
or the experience of it.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying as far as believing in God, I do believe in God. I do believe in source. I believe that everything was created and created with design in mind.
Okay.
The universe, us, earth, other things, everything was, you know, perfectly designed for a reason.
Okay. I just have a few questions on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So how, I guess on a scale of 0 to 100,
Wow, that's
how
a big scale.
confident are you? How confident are you that's the case? What you just said, like that there's a creator who made everything.
You know what I feel when okay, so say your question again because I want to make sure I answer it.
Okay. So I'm you sort of brought up a lot of claims, but the last one that I heard, and
Hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong, but it was essentially that there is a God who created everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm wondering how confident on a 0 to 100 scale you are that that is true.
Well, I believe this. I believe there's no right or wrong way to do anything or believe in anything. I believe um there's no right or wrong path, if that makes sense. I mean, there's a million and one ways to get to one place.
Mhm.
Your GPS tells you that all the time. If this road is blocked, you can go a different way.
Okay.
So just because I believe in God this way doesn't make it right or wrong. What I'm saying is I do believe in a higher power beyond me and beyond my capabilities and knowledge. I believe that there is something that has divine purpose that has my best interest, and I have experienced that. And it is kind of hard for a person to understand that power when they haven't necessarily experienced it themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it would be, I'm open to it, but I don't feel
Hmm.
like you would be able to like convince me that the God that you have is real. I think it would, if anything, it would take me experience to really.
But you do every day. I think that's what holds a lot of people back is their belief system because a lot of our power, the human mind is the most brilliant thing ever,
That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of.
Right.
Exactly. So I believe our beliefs hold us back from seeing our true lives, our best selves,
Okay.
the best versions of us, So I may not necessarily be able to convince you. No one probably would ever be able to
Right.
convince you of if there's a higher power or not.
Yeah.
But I think what you have to do is ask yourself that. you know?
Someone convinced me once when I was younger. It's just been like a back and forth sort of journey for me.
Well, tell me why you don't believe in that, in
Um,
a source bigger than you.
well, like I've because my family is Christian. Like my half of my family is really Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and they sort of got me to believe and read the Bible and believe in a Christian God for
Mm-hmm.
about a year and a half. I was reading the Bible and stuff, but to me, there was with that God in particular, there was like a lot like logical inconsistencies for
Mm-hmm.
me, like in the Bible, but also just the idea of like
Like what?
an
What was?
omniscient, all-loving God,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the concept of there being like a heaven and hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just thought that the concept of hell was inconsistent with an all-loving God, especially one that knew everything that we were going to do from the day we were born to like the day we die. That made me think that He created us each knowing where we're going to go, either heaven or hell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that concept, it didn't really make sense to me. And then at another time, someone convinced me that on a different, more sort of a new age idea of God, that
Mm-hmm.
essentially like we're that we're all God, but there is no like higher God. It's just us. Like the collective consciousness
Mm-hmm.
is God, and we're all. It's like I recognize the divinity in you. It's like a Buddhist, but
Okay. And I think and that goes with religion, you know, and I think that's why people have such a hard time really getting into religion because, you know, you have to practice this way and you have to dress this way and you have to speak this way and you have to
yeah,
believe this way. And I think it's all, you know, people's way of trying to understand the divine source. So they understand that there is a source
right.
that's out there that has created something,
And then they
but
try
they
to
don't
understand.
but they're trying to understand it in a way that we can comprehend. And that's okay. And you know, I'm okay with that as well, you know, because we always have to believe in something that's um um we don't have to always believe in something, you know. But
Right.
what I'm basically saying is people put their own spin to
Everything.
you know, because there's religion that was, you know, way older than Christianity. Christianity isn't even the oldest religion.
Right.
So I feel like we're trying to understand God and we're trying to put all these characteristics and all these things and, you know,
Yeah.
limit and box him into or her or source into whatever, you know, it is.
Right.
And
And when you don't limit God at all, my question is like, what does it become if we don't put any characteristics or limitations on the idea of God?
mhm,
What is it?
what would you like it to be? Because it's always here.
Two X's.
Pretty cool, huh?
I'll give you back.
Okay.
Are we still
We're
live?
we're online.
Yeah, we were good. They just wanted me to reset, and there was going to be a brief audio dropout, so
Okay.
that was where the break was.
So I just have a couple more questions for you. There's like a couple from the audience, and then I have like one or two more.
Oh wow, I got audience questions.
Yeah. We got
Check
audience
me
questions.
out.
Earlier, and again, don't let me put words in your mouth. I think
Okay.
you said something along the lines of everybody has a different path in life,
Yes.
and none of them are really wrong or right.
Correct.
Do you think that people can be wrong or right about anything?
I think that's our determination. You know, I think I don't believe that people have um all the answers. You know, I mean, obviously, no one has all the answers, and
I guess my question is, anyone is
is
Okay.
anything. I mean,
it's kind of weirdly put. I'm gonna
yeah,
try to put it in an example.
yeah, please.
If you had to guess, and I know you can't really know just from looking at this, but do you think there's an even or odd amount Tic Tacs in here?
If I had to guess, I'll say odd.
Odd. Okay. Let's say I guessed even,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know either.
Right.
But let's say that we take them out and we count 37.
Yeah.
So it turns out you're right.
Right.
They're odd. Would you agree that you're right and I'm wrong?
Well, I think the truth is, I think a truth is, oh my gosh, how do I put this where it makes sense out loud?
Take your time.
Just because I mean, in that example, let me answer that. In that example, just because I guessed right doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. It was just a guess. You know, I didn't know it for it to be what it was.
Okay.
So I think that's what we do a lot in life. We take these hypotheses and then we absolutely feel something, you know, that's going in the right direction and we kind of go with it and we get people on board and then that becomes true. You know, I think I think truth is only a collective of people agreeing to something.
That's what truth is.
To me,
Okay.
you know. That's
So
a collection of people agreeing on a certain outcome. Like 2 plus 2 is 4. Everybody agrees on
I
that
was gonna bring that one up.
collectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think of truth being that as far as the collective.
Okay.
But I mean, to
So the more people believe in something, the more true it is. Is that what am I hearing you correct?
well, tell me what is your definition of truth?
Matches best with reality.
Oh, I like that. Matches best with reality,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make it true because reality is, I feel like when we, like right now is reality. Like right now
Yeah.
is reality.
And another one is like
And that's past tense.
there's a cactus plant right
Mm-hmm.
here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Me too. And like I feel like we're on a very basic level we're experiencing it with our senses, you know. I feel like we
Then
get a
what
bunch of
is,
different people to corroborate, and even if they're blind they could touch it and ow, and then it's there for them too, you know. You taste it, uh whatever. I think there's a bunch of different ways to getting the truth, and a lot of it involves
but see,
experiencing something or
hmm. See, when you start saying other things as far as, you know, senses and stuff, I was kind of with you. Then the reason I decided not to be in agreement with you any longer is because I think of anxiety. And a lot of people who have anxiety feel like they can taste and touch. They feel like they're in danger in some type of way,
right.
but it's all mental, you know?
And I think that
And
experience is real for them.
exactly,
Like
but it
whatever
doesn't
their
make it
brain is doing.
true. That's the point.
Well, I mean, I think that whatever their brain is doing is
Hmm.
making them view things a different way. Like I feel like my vision is probably different than yours. Like
Absolutely. It
I'm
makes the world go round.
I once was 2020. Now I'm not. It might be 2020
Maybe
vision
not.
right now. I don't know. But we probably see the cactus in a different way. We're definitely looking at it from different angles, you know. But there's a lot that we can do to prove that the cactus is there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like we can touch it, see it, all this kind of stuff. If I said that there's a cactus plant right there, to me that's less true. What do you think? Like if I told you that there is a cactus plant right there, would you say that's true or false, and why?
but see, that's to my point as far as we all are ingredients that we see, feel, touch. You know, that
Right.
that's what I mean by the agreeing part. Like when a collective
I
and
can
a
see that.
body of people agree on one thing, then you know we all agree that that cactus is reality.
I
You
think
know.
that's an important part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like
But for me to agree and say, because I can, a lot of people feel, I mean, that's why we have people who are schizo, we have different personalities, we have, a lot of things where people can feel as though their reality is warped in some type of way. And the reason I chose anxiety is because I had a roommate who felt as though, you know, she had a cough and it was coronavirus. And, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
or, you know, um, that she couldn't breathe and she's
right.
breathing,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, or, it's kind of hard to be like, how can you touch air? Or, it's there, like oxygen is there, but,
right.
we all agree on that. But it's a little difficult when things aren't, you know, as six senses per se, if that makes any
Oh
sense.
yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Like for her, it's less, it's harder to access the air, even though we all know
It's there,
it's there. Yeah.
And
Um.
how can I make you believe in something that you haven't seen?
Right. That's a good
Kind of
point.
reminds me of God.
Yeah. I mean, air. I think we're experiencing it. We're breathing it in.
Keep going.
We're breathing it in. We're putting our hands through it right now. I can create a little wind with
But
it.
that's with the knowledge of knowing.
I'm
But
interacting with it with my senses.
but if you never knew of that, then how would you be able to believe in that?
I don't think I would. I don't think I'd be able to articulate it to you. I would just be
That's how God is. It's hard to articulate who God is and how he is, because how do you explain someone who created worlds and we have that in us?
right.
How do you explain energy like that? You can't. And we try to on so many different ways and platforms and
Uh-huh.
messages and stories, and we try our best. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
So that's why I have no, um, I love having conversations on different religion, and I love talking to people of different backgrounds, and
Uh-huh.
because it makes the world go round. Why do you believe the way that you do? How
Right.
is it working out for you?
Right.
You know,
Yeah. What
what
benefits?
benefits it does it? We all have our reasons of dibbling and dabbling in the things that we do.
Yeah.
Whether we understand them or not, it all moves us forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't mean to throw us off,
No, it's all
but
good. Just a
um,
couple more for real this time.
yeah,
Did I ask you scale of 0 to 100 where you're at?
on what
On your
believing in God,
Yeah,
100. I believe in God,
100.
100%.
Okay. Um, what would it take for you to roll back that that confidence? What would you have to learn about the world or experience?
To not believe in God,
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty interesting because I grew up Christian. I haven't really admitted this out loud. I grew up Christian. I'm from Louisiana, so oh my gosh, Baptist,
Right. Yeah.
um, out of this world Baptist,
Yeah.
Pentecostal, all of that type of stuff. So,
Was it like a
uh,
loud church?
very loud, very rowdy.
Mine too. People
Um,
passing out, speaking in tongues.
love it. I mean, however you get in alignment, that's how you get in. Um, so I grew up that way, went to college, went to church, was in church heavily. After college, I kind of fell out with Christianity, kind of fell out with spirituality, just kind of fell out. And I went down a rough 1 year. It's back in 2016. It was a really, really tough, hard year. I mean, I
Why'd
was
you
just,
fall out?
um, just the same reason I felt like a lot of the teachings of Christianity was untrue, as far as like I remember reading about how they even got the picture of Jesus, quote, Jesus Christ. It was of the priest, son in the Catholic Church back in the day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
you gotta do
crazy.
some research. Yeah, so the picture that we see now in the all the churches of Jesus, and the curly hair is brown,
Uh-huh.
that's of a priest. That's the
Son.
priest's son in the Catholic Church back in like 19 something. It's like far. but they took the
1900s? That's not that
yeah,
far at all.
well, 1800s,
Okay.
1900s, but it was back then. You can look it up. I mean, like
Okay. Yeah, I'll have
definitely
to.
a quick Google search.
I don't
would
know
be
too
nothing.
much about like where our conception of Jesus comes from. I know it's debated whether he was white or black and brown.
But but see, that's the thing of humanity, and we debate over things that's frivolous too, and that's why we would never know who God is truly. You get
Right,
what I
right, right.
mean? Like we debate over things that doesn't even matter.
So that's it for my questions. Couple questions from the audience.
Yeah.
The first one is, how would someone preferring the God to be a certain way relate to how it actually is? Do you understand that one?
Say it again.
How would someone preferring the God to be a certain way relate to how the God actually is?
Well, that's a matter of opinion. I believe all of that is a matter of opinion and belief.
Okay.
You know, just because I prefer, it's just like, I mean, let's let's keep it simple. It's just kind of like women. Just because I prefer to date, this type of woman doesn't mean that
That's the best.
that's the best.
Right.
That's just what I prefer.
That's your preference.
That's
Okay.
a preference. So that's to me is an opinion as far as what people prefer God to be or what not to be versus the truth. Like, what is the truth? The truth is he is, I believe that he is here, there is source here, but that's my truth. Go
His
ahead.
his follow-up question to that is the God's nature dependent on preference?
I would ask a person to kind of go more in depth with that. Like what are they referring to as far as that?
So let me see
Like
if
to
I
go
could
in a
figure it
little
out.
bit more detail with their
So it's like, you're saying that I think you related your preference towards how God is to your taste in women.
I know that's kind of weird, huh?
No, I get it though. And so I think he's asking more about like the reality of God. Like, if you think that God is a certain way,
But that's the
is it just
thing.
because you prefer that he is that way?
Who is to say that's
Like, do you think that your conception of God is the way that God is? I guess is kind of what it's getting down to.
no, I don't
Okay.
because again, I'm putting human characteristics on a divine being that I have no no idea how big and vast.
Okay.
Like I only put it in human characteristics and prefaces because that's the way that I understand
Mm,
and the way that I am able to digest the magnitude of how big God is.
okay.
So because I prefer God a certain way doesn't mean that's the reality of who God is. Does that make sense? It's
Right.
just my
It's your
preference.
belief.
It's my belief.
Okay.
Absolutely. So just because I believe God to be, died on the cross, rose again, doesn't mean that it is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. If all humans thought God was a certain way, could they all still be mistaken? Like, if everyone on the earth thought.
absolutely.
Okay.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Because we are not without fault. So just because, I mean, we at one point we thought the world was
flat. And
exactly.
there are still those who
And
do.
some people still believe that the world is flat, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. B.O.B. I don't know if you remember that.
You talk about the rapper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Airplanes in the He made a flat earth song. It was garbage.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
I like B.O.B., by the way.
I like airplanes. Airplanes is fire. How does an impaired perception change the truth of reality?
How does an impaired perception change the truth of reality? I think it would change it greatly. I mean, if you don't have the right perception, oh man, let me ask you this. I know I was finna ask you, do you by chance, I'm not sure if the audience either. Do you guys Abraham Hicks? Have you
I've heard of him.
it's a I was finna go somewhere with that, but I'm gonna stop right there.
All right, I'll look him up later.
But that's on YouTube, Abraham Hicks, and they talk a lot about perception. And the
I keep hearing
the,
about him
the
actually in talks like this. Sorry, go on.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you should definitely take a look. But you know, your belief empowers you from seeing a lot of things, and that includes reality. Your beliefs empowers. You know, if you don't believe that you can do something, you're right.
Right.
Just simple as that. If you believe that you can do something, you're right. We're not with or without any sort of.
Do you think there's limits on what we can or can't?
We apply them to ourselves. No
Does
one
reality
person.
apply them at all? Like, could
No,
I fly if I wanted to right now without the aid of like?
I believe anything is possible.
Okay.
I believe anything is possible. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was people back in the Stone Ages, you know, having interesting conversations just like we're having interesting conversations.
They never thought we'd get here with all this technology and all that.
Black people never thought they'll be integrated with white people, but hey, look at us
me.
now. Look at you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is perception holds us all back, you know, and if you believe that you can or can't, then that's facts.
Hey, thanks.
I
Thanks,
know.
Mikey. You've been great, man.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, we could end it right there.
All right, cool.
Yeah. It's gonna be on his channel. It's just look up juggling lessons if you want to see it.
It's a tiny channel, so you gotta type in juggling lessons space channel.
Is it on you?
And juggling lessons.
Right.